Here are the members of the committee. Jeff Long from Arkansas, the chair. There you see the name Barry Alvarez. Some other names that should be familiar to college football fans, like Pat Hayden, like Archie Manning, Tom Osborne, and Condoleezza Rice, of course, has been under a lot of scrutiny for being part of this list. No fault of her own. Ty Willingham, also a big name on that list. And Mike Tranghese, you may remember, he's a former commissioner of the Big East. He is already widely known as a legendary coach at the University of Wisconsin and the Badgers' current athletics director, a guy that Brandon Williams knows fairly well. Barry Alvarez, also now part of the first ever playoff selection committee for the new college football playoff. Welcome in, Barry Alvarez, for some talk about that committee to start things off. Barry, congrats on being named. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the makeup of that committee, yourself joined by some other college football luminaries, names like Tom Osborne and some folks outside of the envelope a little bit like Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with the makeup of the committee. Most of the people on the committee I've dealt with in one way or another and know them. All of them have integrity. All of them are intelligent people. All of them, college football means something to all of them, and I'm really excited about it, and quite frankly, very honored to have been selected.
Well, Coach Jim Miller here. Congratulations on being selected. Well deserved. It's a very distinguished panel, I might add, Coach. But maybe just touch on the criteria. I think a lot of fans out there think, hey, everything's are either great or they're awful the way things are decided in college football. But at least right now, it sounds like there's a criteria, in terms of the strength of schedule, the competition within the division, things of that nature. Maybe touch on that a little bit, because at least with the criteria that has been laid out, it's a little bit more defined for college football fans.
Yeah, I think so, Jim. And I think as a coach, most coaches want to know the rules before the game starts. The BCS was great. The BCS was good for college football. But I don't think at the end of the day, coaches or anyone else knew exactly how those teams were rated and how you came to get those final two. Who programmed the computers, what went into the computers, what were the factors, all those things. Now you'll have a human factor in this committee that will sit down and take a look at things like strength of schedule, head-to-head competition, all those things, all the different things that will come out, and most of them have been stated already, but we'll have a chance to study film, we'll have a chance to study the teams and then make a decision, and then have transparency where when you do have your rankings come out, be able to explain why.
Hey, Coach, do you think there are any advantages or disadvantages to being a current AD and being on this committee?
I don't know. I don't know if being an AD has anything to do with it. I think the ADs on the committee all have a background in football. Understand football, are decision makers. I think you have to have people, and the people on this committee have made decisions. This is going to be a high-profile position. It's going to be scrutinized. It's going to be questioned. There will be a lot of criticism, and you have better been in a position to have done that before and make decisions and accept that responsibility.
Barry, as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong here, the individual votes won't be released to the public. They'll be released as a whole from the committee. Now, could committee members individually, hypothetically, if you wanted to release who you had in your top four, is that allowed, or has the decision been made that no one will individually release their selections?
We really haven't talked about that yet, Rick. Our first meeting will be in November. I think those are things that will have to be discussed, but as I understand it, the individual rankings by the individuals will not be released. I don't know whether we can do it on our own or not. That's something that we'll discuss, I'm sure.
Barry, the chair of this playoff selection committee, Jeff Long from Arkansas, obviously the interesting comparisons there with Jeff being down there and Brett being down there now as well. What's your relationship like with Jeff?
I met Jeff when he was at Pittsburgh. I've known Jeff for several years, have a good relationship with him. I happened to run into him a couple weeks ago in Dallas. I have no issues, no problems with Jeff.